Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. you know, I have to watch these twice because they decided when they came back for the final four episodes, they decided let's air them at 9 Central, 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. By the time that's done, I'm ready to go to bed. I'm ready to go to sleep. I can't. So if I review it right afterwards, it's gonna be another half hour, and then I gotta go in there and lay down. And sometimes it takes me a while and lay there, watch TV, and start to get sleepy. And that's another thing. Trying to go to bed at 10 o'clock, I can't do that. So I have to try to go to sleep right away without trying to sneak in. When I go to 10 o'clock, I can just sort of slowly fall asleep, watch the Little Friends, and yeah. So I've had to watch these twice. And no more was I dreading rewatching an episode than this one. And it has nothing, like, rewatching it now, it wasn't the whole episode. Everything was really good until the end. Until they get to Walter Wilkins' house, Wendell Wilkins' house, everything is fine. If it had ended after they get out of the... Okay, this tilted at some point. Sorry. If it had ended at a certain point in this... Okay, now it's cutting me off. God damn it. I can't win with this thing. If it had cut off, it ended at a certain point in this episode, it would have been fine. I'd say, hey, this is really good. But it kept going. And it feels like this ending part just keeps going. Like the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Like it just won't end. Watching it this time, the engine is just going on and on and on. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It won't stop. And the more it goes on, the less sense it seems to make. I already thought that when I was at work thinking about it. And then we're watching it. Yeah, it really makes no sense, this ending. But we'll get to it. We start off, unfortunately, and I said this last week, I've been okay to just let her die. Can't do that. Nope. We can't just let her die. Nope. Even though we see them put the fucking needle in her arm. And I gotta show that again. Hold on it. And us people who don't like needles, we just love that, don't we? Nope. They show him put the needle in her arm. And then random security guard guy shows up, starts shooting up the place. And frees her. And I'm going, see, this is what I was talking about. And the fact that it took this long to happen makes no sense. She has every single security guard in that prison, except for the sniper, under her control. For all intents and purposes, every security guard should be running in and helping her escape. Before the execution even happened. I know they have the sniper, but I already laid that out last week too. She has every single one of them under her control. So, all you need is 2 or 3 of them to distract the sniper while she gets away. And it also proves my point here, because not only does she have the security guard playing Terminator, it's basically the mall scene from Terminator 2. This guy goes through shooting people. I did laugh at Nika because she's trying to go after her, but there's this guy that got shot, dead body in front of her. She's like, get the fuck out of my way! When you're in a wheelchair, you can't do anything. She got no arm and legs either. So, but yeah, and then she runs out with the guy, and then the sniper shows up. Right, well, actually, this is where it kind of cuts off, because they run, and they get out of the main thing, and everybody get out of the prison, but it cuts off till later. I'll just go ahead and talk about this now, because I know it's like going nowhere. But they do eventually get out, You get the definitely part out. And the guard basically sacrificed himself because they during the previously on fucking Chucky part at the opening. By the way, it's Price that says it in this one, which is weird. Previously on fucking Chucky. That is weird. We're gonna talk about Price because his role in this season just it doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, so Tiffany and a security guard, they get out. He sacrifices herself. So because they showed that flashback, I thought, are they gonna do something like, oh, she's voodoo possessed, so she can't actually die? And so when the guy came in shooting, I went, oh, is that the sniper? It's not the sniper. It's just another security guard. And then I asked another question: is why did it take so long to do this? I mean, come on. It's how strong the voodoo magic is, right? I don't know. But eventually, Nika tries to go after her in the freaking wheelchair, but she falls over. And then she gets, Tiffany gets out. I do like, though, when she goes to leave, the guy, she's like, open the door, open the gate. He's like, yes, Miss Tilly. And she's like, when she goes running through, he's like, make sure you come and visit us again sometime. She goes, no, thank you. I did laugh at that. And then her car is just there. Her car, the red convertible car, it's just there. Just there. Just there. Right? Oh, I just thought of something else that's going to be an issue. Anyway, the car's just there. I don't know why or how. Nobody saw this fucking car right outside the gate. Maybe one of the security guards had it and put it there. It's a little too convenient, though. And she drives off. And that's the part. So a big part of the advertisements was Jake going into the spirit realm. That was a big, cliffhanger hook from the end of the last episode. So obviously we're going to take forever to get there. Not only do we have this stuff, it kind of cuts off at a certain point. The part I talked about is like halfway through the episode. They show that part. But anyway, only we have all this stuff at the beginning, up to a point where she runs out of the where they're doing the lethal injections, right? And then it cuts, and then we come back later with Body's got it all done. Anyway, that part up to where she leaves where they're doing the lethal injections, and then it cuts to, instead of going straight to, we see Jake like that. Instead of going to the spirit realm right away, no, we gotta have exposition from Timmy, who explains that the spirit realm, it's not like normal realms. And it's not just anyone who's died in the White House. Anyone who's died anywhere could be there. This is to justify a character's return, but it's really a waste because it's only one character, and it's the easiest character you could have done because of who the actor is. If you've seen the trailers, you know who it is, but I'm not going to spoil it yet. Yeah. Yeah, and we also see that Price is up to something. We don't know what yet. Of course. So now we go to the spirit realm, and like I mentioned, there is someone else there. It is Jake's dad. Like I said, they already had Devon Sawa. They didn't have to go out or call anyone to come in to play other roles. Just Devon Sawa's already there. Just put the fake beard on him, put him in the coveralls, and yeah. And we do get some closure here between the two of them, and I like that. But it starts off like The Shining. He's even chasing them to a dining room and stuff. So it kind of reminds me of The Shining. Like Jack, I'm not gonna hurt ya. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. But no, he's like, Jake goes after him, and then Jake forgives his dad, even though his dad showed no remorse here. We do finally find out what happened to his mom. His mom died, but it just we kind of knew. But still, it's like we kind of found out, uh, everything was fine. I was proud. And then your mom died, and you found alcohol, and isn't that just the same boring old cliche you've seen in these movies and TV shows? Oh, everything was fine till my mom died, and my dad started drinking, and he started abusing me after. It's just so rinse, wash, repeat of things like this. And all that is added to this is, and Jake was also gay, which didn't help the situation. That's what it is. Oh, it's the same old shtick with, and the kid is also gay. Yeah. And then Jake's thing is, what helped is I found Devin, and I'm like, so, like when you first met Devin, I don't know. But he does apologize and stuff, but then his dad's like, you're still not going to be strong enough to stop him. You're not going to be. And then he finds, Charles. They call him Chucky Prime. He calls him, but like Charles, the old man Charles. And we have a great bit of dialogue between the two of them where Chucky is talking to him because basically, this is the first time we see actually Zachary Arthur and Brad Dourif face to face. It's pretty cool. And then he takes him to this theater where we see a whole bunch of other Chuckies, which is the other, those who died other places. I half expected Andy to show up, confirming that what we saw, I'm still unsure, but like they said that, when we see in like episode 3, whatever it is, where we see Andy killed, and it shows that it's a dream, I was half expecting Andy to show up and be like, oh, well, Chucky killed me in my apartment. Yeah, and I've been dreaming of it ever since. And it's just like, oh, fuck no. But no Andy, thank God. Although, can we bring him back in season 4 if there is one? I need more Andy, okay? I know that it was sort of like a retirement thing at the end of the last season. Be that retirement for Kyle. I'm still confused as to how he wouldn't be involved, because if they were able to see Chucky on the fucking news, he would see it too. And this is the White House. It's world news. Only thing I think of is that he doesn't watch the news. Although, you'd think he would keep up current events, especially he would know. But whatever. So we see this movie theater, we see Chucky's Greatest Hits. Basically, we see what I thought footage they couldn't use, which was from the first movie, because they don't have the rights to that one. Well, I guess they do, because now their collections have all the movies in it. Before, they didn't, so maybe they do now have rights to the footage. But, yeah, they show him possessing the doll, and then they show clips of deaths from the 3 seasons of Chucky, and almost all the Chuckies, the big mostly Chuckies there, the Marlon Brando Chucky, the horror, the bald one, there was another Chucky there, right? Isn't there another one? Maybe those are only 2 Chuckies. And you have Kid Charles Lee Ray, who somehow aged a little bit since the first time we saw him in a flashback, but it's the kid. Teen Charles Lee Ray, Fiona Dourif dressed like the adult Charles Lee Ray, and of course old Charles. I have an issue. So, when I first watched this and the Fiona Dourif Chucky Charles started talking, I went, oh, did they forget to add the voiceover? And as it was going on, I'm like, okay, because it's just her voice, and it doesn't sound right, because in the previously established flashback footage, Brad Dourif's voiceover was over it, so it was his voice talking, not Fiona's voice. It's off. The only thing I can think of is they didn't want to have where he's. I mean, he argues with the dolls, so it's confusing. I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. They have them arguing. Maybe they didn't want to have both his voice do it, but it's off when you have, in the previous times we saw this version of Chucky, of Charles, Brad Dourif did the voiceover, and now it's not. It's just her voice, and it's off-putting. But we see Nadine's death, and then good Chucky. What's that down there? Oh, nothing. But good Chucky. Why does it keep... But good Chucky. What is the one of those things? Anyway. Good Chucky. Runs away, and Jake follows him into some bedroom. And he talks to him, and he tries to convince him, what he has to do. You have to make up for what happened in Nadine's death, and blah, blah, blah. And all the Chuckies come in and are talking to Jake, and so he seems to convince good Chucky. Will you stop doing that? Anyway, I don't know what that was. My eyes are all weird. Hold on. Oh, that hurt. Sneezing right into my arm. That yawning into his sneeze and going right. Where the hell was I? Right. So, good Chucky takes the knife. He starts to count, and then keeps counting. Gets to 20, and then they're just like, you got Fiona Dourif's Chucky going like Charles going. I'm like, what? They're like, wait, where's the other one? Huh? The old Chucky, Chucky Prime. Oh, he's on his way to your body. You see, you made a big mistake leaving your body unchecked. So he wasn't good Chucky. We get it. He wasn't good Chucky. This does confirm there was never a good Chucky, but I still call bullshit. Because the whole thing of them making him watch the stuff over and over again and creating good Chucky, it just... My thought process is this. There is a good Chucky, but Chucky has him buried away, like hidden away, and he pretended to be the good Chucky. So he's there, but he hid them from Jake, knowing what he was going to do. Because let's face it, he knew what he was going to do going in, because the ghost can hear things. He's a ghost, he can hear it. So we got to Jake running to his body. This is very confusing. So the time is up. Price has disappeared at this point. By this point, we've also seen that the security, or Price's security, is placing these incendiary devices around the White House. And Hicks, the only Secret Service member left with a fucking brain, is trying to stop them, but Price stops him. And we later find out that he killed him. So just mark that on your kill count list. Looking from it later. I will talk about that later too, but yeah, he's placing this incendiary devices around the place for no real reason. It's like they wrote Price in, and then as it went along, they just didn't know what to do with him, so they just made him do stupid thing after stupid thing after stupid thing, and this was like, we need to have an epic finale in this White House. We're not going to use this set anymore, let's burn it down, right? Keep in mind, if Price did survive, that would be a felony and he'd be going to jail. I'm just saying, that is the felony of all felonies, burn down the White House. Anyway, so Jake gets to his body, but So they inject him with a thing, try to bring him back. Devin starts doing CPR, which because Chucky has jumped into Jake's body, it shows Devin delivering CPR to a Chucky doll, and then they make out. And look, I don't have a problem with gay characters in a TV show. I don't have a problem seeing gay characters kiss or make out on a TV show. It was a little awkward with the, underage teens trying to have sex, but it's a TV show and it was handled decently. But I will not and never will accept Chucky has not and never ever will be gay. And this just, I know it was to fuck with Jake, but it fucked with me too. Because it's been heavily shown that Chucky is not that way. And you're going, well, what about when he was Chuck Nika? Technically, he was still getting with women. Tiffany still, he wasn't doing dudes as a woman. He was still with a woman, which, if Charles Lee Ray got a sex change, he'd still be with women. He'd be a lesbian, woman, trans, whatever. I don't know the testicular name, but you know what I mean. Did I say testicular? I meant particular name. But yeah, it just weirded me out. I was like, no. He's like, and I'm like, it's to get to Jake. I get it, but it got to me. And stuff like that doesn't usually get to me. But as a fan of Chucky from the very beginning, I know he's not fucking gay. Okay? So it bugged me. It didn't piss me off. It just got me like, no, we didn't need to see that. It's unnecessary. Like all of the heel turns that Triple H is doing in WWE right now. Except for Santos Escobar. That one was fine. But like a lot of the heel turns, just like, why are you doing it? The latest one, Fallon Henley. Why? Anyway, so Jake, you're back again, aren't you? Wakes up. Of course, it's Chucky. And in my opinion, this should have been when the episode stopped. You see him running, you just show him running, and then Jake wakes up. And you could end it there, or you could have the fire thing happen, and they run through the fire, and it cuts off. You don't know if Jake survived. Jake and Timmy get separated, as they do in the episode, and then you don't know. Or maybe Jake gets separated from the others, right? And you think Jake is dead. We end with them standing outside the burning White House. Fade to black. That would be a way to end it. Tiffany's in the wind. Nick is probably going to try to go after her again. Was it Jake or was it Chucky that got out? We don't know. Did they even survive? The whole thing. Oh, by the way, it's when... So this is a confusing thing. So I've already confirmed that it's Chucky inside Jake's body. But for some reason, when he's talking to good Chucky tells Jake, oh, he's with Grandfather she's with Grandfather Wendell Wilkins. With it being implied, oh, then when Jake gets out, he's going to tell them they're going to go there and try to find her. Which again, if they left on them running through the White House and Jake getting separated and they think that Jake is dead and is staying outside the burning White House, then that would be something to go for next season. But the fact that they have Chucky go into Jake's body, and he's the one who suggests, oh, I got an address. I know where she is. what's the point of telling Jake? So, Chucky wakes up in Jake's body, and for some reason Timmy doesn't know. He's already acting kind of strange, but yeah, the explosion, the incendiary devices go off, which Grant notices, and they try to run away. Grant has to go back for Hicks for some reason. This is where I'm like, okay, this is twice now he's gone back. He's dead. He's got to be fucking dead now. He's done it twice. You don't do that in a horror movie or a show and not die. Apparently, you do. I'm into it. But then, because of the fire, Jake and Timmy are unable to make it down the stairs, so they use the elevator. And as soon as they get in, Jake beats the living shit out of Timmy and leaves him for dead. I'm saying leave him for dead because they could still bring him back. I don't know what he would do in this scenario now, but for my ending, they could bring him back. I'm just saying. In my ending, only Jake would get separated and Timmy would be with them. And then the next, my season 4 would start off with them still looking out the fire and Jake coming out and them all hugging and everything, but Timmy noticing something's off. He can sense it. That's what I would have done. But no, Timmy gets the shit beat out of him and maybe dies. Chucky did say he's like bones and ashes by then, but still this is fine. Timmy is not, I don't know. I kind of liked him. I like this him over, but it's fine. But yeah, Grant goes for Hicks, but he finds Hicks bleeding to death, and then Price. And so they have a fight, but the ghosts of the White House, none of which are any of the people that died because of Chucky. They're all the older ghosts. I think one of them is George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or someone with a powder wig. I don't know who that's supposed to be, but they go after him and basically kill him. Fine. And Grant gets out. And I had a problem with this. He goes outside of the White House and there's no one there. Nothing. This is the fucking White House. How is there no cops called by now? The White House is on fucking fire and no one's there. As soon as I'm about to say something, the fire department shows up. But like, as soon as he ran out, they should. It's the White House. Whatever. So he's standing there. He looks through the window and he sees his dad and his little brother standing in the, I think it's the Oval Office window, basically saying goodbye. It's nice. He meets up with the other two, and they're confused about Jake. Oh no, he actually meets up with his mom, not the other two. He meets up with his mom and his little brother, who became so unimportant, he doesn't even really have any lines in this. She barely has lines. But then he meets up, the family's back together except for Devon Sawa, because Devon Sawa has to die sometimes more than once in a season. But, yeah. So then Jake shows up and reunites with Lexi and Devin. And there's hugs and yeah. And then if it ended here, if it ended the way I said, we could have had a decent episode, decent finale. But they just had to go one little bit higher. And when Don Cini goes, just has to keep going, that we get stuff like Seed of Chucky, or Cult of Chucky, or Nika's arms and legs being chopped off, or Chucky was the Bell doll the whole time. Yeah, it's in that line of going a little over the top. So they reach Wendell Wilkins' house. By the way, before I get into this, Zachary Arthur is fantastic as Chucky. Like when he attacks Timmy, he does they showed the behind the scenes thing like they usually do, and Brad Dourif was coaching him a little higher, how to do the voice, and some people were like at first I was like, did they overdub him? But no, it's actually Zachary Arthur doing the Chucky voice, he's pretty good. But this kind of made me cringe because they show up and he's like, "Hi, I'm Jake, whatever the last name is. This is Devin, the light of my life, and this here is F word, FAG word, hag. I don't say that word. Alexandra, whatever her last name is." She goes, "Jake," and he's just, I'm like, again, the light of my life. We're homosexuals. I'm like, why are you? And they were just like, "Jake," and then, but they're talking to this dude, and he lets them come into the house. And they realize a bunch of dolls around. And Devin realizes that Wendell Wilkins is the creator of the Good Guy dolls. And I thought of something watching it this time. He explains that he had a son who died when a maniac killed him in a shopping mall in 1983. And I went, no. No fucking way. You are trying to insinuate that Charles Lee Ray, because he says afterwards, after his son died, he began working on his greatest creation, which is the Good Guy dolls, which they say came out in 1987. There's no way that when this movie starts, Child's Play takes place in 1988. There's no way that they've only been out for a year. There's no way. There's just no way it's only been a year. I don't know, that seems too short of a time. Maybe 2 years. Maybe say 1985. He made them and mass produced them in 86. And they were all the rage in the late 80s. He also says that the murders in 88 caused the downfall of the dolls. Wrong. It was the murders in Child's Play 2 that started the downfall of the dolls, because they say that in fucking Child's Play 3. That it was what happened at the doll factory in the second one that caused all the issues, and why they had to wait 8 years to start mass producing again. So it wasn't the events of the first film, it was the events of the second film. Don, I'm begging you, watch your movies. Learn the continuity. You wrote these fucking movies. Don't be a Paul W.S. Anderson and just throw whatever you want. Come on, man. It was the events of the second film that caused the issues, not the events of the first film. Because if you remember, nobody believed Andy or his mom about what happened. And the detectives were like, "Me no speaky," so they didn't, say anything. Yeah. Karen was in a mental institution for years because of this. It wasn't those events. Anyway, so yeah. Are they trying to insinuate that Charles Lee Ray killed this guy's son, kicking off the events that would create the doll, the very doll that would give Chucky new life, that would give rebirth Charles Lee Ray to Chucky? It's a little too much. Not too much. But yeah, and he reveals he has a doll, like we saw in the trailer. He has a doll. The very first made doll, which looks pretty fucking good from being all the way in 1987. Kind of nice and shiny new for being that old, for being 37 years old. Just saying. It was the first doll ever produced. Also, prototypes. First, he calls it a prototype. Prototypes never look like what the actual product is going to look like. So the fact that that doll looks exactly the same as the other dolls is bullshit anyway. But anyway, he says that, he was, lost until a little girl, same age as his son was. So his son was 12 or 13 when he died. Keep that in mind. Not for the kid, but how old Caroline is, because we're going to get to it. This is going along, but that's fine. I have grievances to air, especially now. Maybe another hour. It's not. I'm just saying. So Caroline comes in, and Lexi goes to hug her, but she pulls out a knife. And then she goes, "Hi, Chucky. Nice perm." And this reveals that Jake is actually Chucky. And Devin's response is, "Son of a bitch," or something like that. Devin's hair is naturally curly. I'm like, yeah, great comeback, Devin. Just great comeback. So yeah, their plan is to transfer his soul into the doll, and Caroline is going to do it, and she does it wrong. All she says is "Ade Due Dembala," which, by the way, how can nobody pronounce this fucking name right? It's Dambala, right? Dambala. Even Dambala himself calls it Dumbala. Tiffany goes Dumbala. It's Dambala, but in the Ade Due Dembala. And even the, what's his name? Walter or Wendell is like Dambala. I'm like, what? Do you not know how to say the name? It's Dambala. 36 years, I think I know. Well, it was like 92 that I first saw it, but still. So 32 years. 32 years, yeah. So, anyway. So she does the spell, and she only says, "Ade Due Dambala, give me the power, beg of you." Maybe they didn't want to teach her this fake French, or this French stuff. I don't know. By the way, something you should know is that they pretty much retconned John because of this Voodoo for Dummies book. And if you don't know, John was the guy who taught him voodoo, and he was shown in the first film. Just an abomination. That guy. But this, excuse me, a little gassy. This show basically says he learned it from a Voodoo for Dummies book. I can believe Tiffany learned it, but not him. Okay, we know who you learned it from. Maybe the Dummies book wasn't working right, so he found John. I don't know. But Jake comes to, and that's where he's told that he's the one who killed Timmy. And then instead of just getting the fuck out of there, they're like, "So what are you going to do now? You going to kill us?" And he's like, "Well, we were, but we came up with something else." And so they show something off screen that we don't see, but they just kind of lean in, and then it cuts to the first of my what, why moments of the episode, or what, how episode, most of the episode. Tiffany shows up. What? How? Why? What? Why? How? How did she know where they were? She shows up, and she reunited with Chucky, and she sees what is off screen. We don't see it. And she is gifted a Belle doll, which is implied was also made by Wendell. Another fucking coincidence. Sorry if I'm swearing a lot. I get more than 10 F-bombs on my show. Yeah, so let me just cut to she's now in the doll, and now Tiffany-ified the doll, And the 12-year-old girl is driving the car as Chucky and Tiffany are making out to a song. I forgot what the song was. And then we cut again back to Wendell's house, and what? And Nika has now showed up. What? Why? How? Huh? Did she, like, when she was lesbians with with Tiffany, and she shove a tracker up her ass or something? I don't understand this. How is she able to find her there? Oh, I got a whole big complaint about this whole thing when I'm done. But I want to get through this first. She's there, and we finally see what they're looking at off screen. The kids have, Jake, Lexi, and Devin have been turned into marionette dolls. Not only that, they're wearing the exact same clothes they wore at the presidential Halloween party. What? Why? How? That's 3. It just doesn't make any sense. And what also I realized, what I thought of during this watch was, so you just let them do this to you? You're being held captive by a little girl, a doll, and an old man. Kick the doll across the room, push down the little girl, Lexi preferably, and run away. The old man can't catch you. Come on. And they even make a comment about Jake is jacked. Yeah, so use your muscles, Jake. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. There are 3 kids against an old man, a little girl, and a doll. I know the doll has the strength of Damballa, but it's still just a doll. You kick it, it's going to fly across the room. Come on. You're telling me not a single one of them was able to fight back against this? They just let it happen? And now they're stuck in these little marionette dolls? Come on. Me not liking this. Not only that, but it's implied that something happens to Nika too, because they keep saying behind you, Nika, behind you, and it cuts to an outside view, and there's a scream. Yeah. And that's basically it. But we have one more little thing, as Chucky is now in the Oval Office, still on fire, the Oval Office, and he's saying, I'm in here to announce that I'm running for a 4th consecutive term. I would like to point out my successful 3rd term and all the kills from the season, and would encourage you to go to this number, the show number, and vote or whatever, and pledge your allegiance to me or something. And it's basically breaking the 4th wall type thing, but I think it works. Kind of like that whole thing with, I bet you want to know. I'm glad they didn't keep doing the kill count at the end of each season. So, yeah. But that's it. The end of the season. It does feel like this took longer than usual, maybe because it was split in half. We started last October because of that stupid ass strike. I'm never going to not be mad at that stupid strike. I'm sorry. It is stupid. I understand fairness and wanting fair wages, all that stuff. That's great. But I just think it's incredibly selfish to halt every single movie and TV show because you want more money. Because here's the situation. I said this before. We want money. We want to make money. We want to make more money. We want more money. So we're not going to do our jobs. We're not going to do our stuff. We're going to stop not only us, but other people who are not supportive, other people who are just, wanting to do their jobs. They're not going to be able to do their jobs either. And even YouTubers that need to do their jobs, they can't do it either if they're supporting us because we want more money. And it wasn't enough for the writers to want more money than the actors want more money. And what it did was just stretch out. I understand the cause. I get it. Everyone wants better wages. Everybody wants to make more money. I get that. As someone who talks about movies and TV, I couldn't support it because if I did, I then wouldn't be able to do my job. You understand my point? I didn't support it out of need to continue doing what I want to do. Because if I supported it, I would probably have to just do video game stuff. That was it. And I could have, but I like talking about movies and TV shows so much, I just couldn't. So not that I didn't want to. Well, yeah, I didn't want to, but it's also I couldn't bring myself to do it and nerf my channel like other channels did. And hey, all respect to them. They kept going, especially Dead Meat, with the interesting kill counts and stuff that they did. I couldn't do it. Now I'm not making any money off of this, but still. Anyway, season 3, Chucky, better than season 2. I wasn't a fan of all that church stuff. This was better, I think. I think it was done better. It worked better. Now, before I go, let's talk about this whole ending thing. I call bullshit. So, if you remember, Chucky was dying. And so his last big effort was to basically nuke the entire world, causing a World War III and going out with a bang. So how, out of nowhere, does he have this contingency plan to get himself back into a doll body? And not only that, Tiffany, of which he was not even associated with at the beginning of this season, and basically left her to die in prison, is now part of this plan, and he has a doll for her, and this Wendell guy is involved, and everything. And it just, it makes no sense when you really think about it. It makes no sense. If he was willing to go out in a blaze of glory, of dying, where did this contingency plan come from? Right? We even see him basically saying goodbye to Tiffany because they're both gonna die. I don't understand this. This screams of someone saying we cannot end the season with Chucky being dead. And apparently him being inside Jake's body, his spirit being inside Jake's body wasn't good enough. You could have just ended with that. Like I said, leave it ambiguous. And maybe as they I don't know, leave it ambiguous, they get the hug. Or you leave it ambiguous saying that Jake, they think he's dead. And you end with the burning White House. I don't know. But I did like most of the season. Even the ghost stuff. I like that stuff, So what are your thoughts on this episode of Chucky? This is one of the longest Chucky reviews I've ever done. But I think it's worth it. So thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.